Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I am so pleased that you're here. Oh my gosh, hasn't it been such a topsy-turvy whirlwind of an experience over the last couple of months with everything that's going on in the world? I know one of the things that's come up a lot in conversation in some of the groups that I'm in and with some of my clients is that it hasn't all been bad though. And I think you remember from the episode last week, I certainly am thriving in, lockdown. It turns out, I'm well suited to a pandemic lifestyle where everything is about, well, for me, it's been about grounding. It's been getting back to the things that are really important to me. I've been able to spend more time at home, which means I've been able to do some more things around the house. I understand lots of you have been doing that as well. People have been cleaning out Tupperware cupboards and linen cupboards and, all of that. I've also been doing that. And I'm just in the process now of starting a mini renovation in the backyard, and I will post some pictures of it on the blog. So if anybody's interested, you can go and have a little bit of a look. And I think the thing is that when you're home and you find that you just naturally want to start tidying things up a little bit, making things nicer for yourself, I think that's, without realizing it, just your spirit's way, your soul's way of saying, I want to create a nice space for myself so that I can feel calm, so that the energy can flow. And hasn't it been such a really positive experience in that respect? I know myself, different parts of the house that have been cleaned up. I love to go and look at them and admire my handiwork and I just feel really good. And it's been really nice to sort of reorganize the study as well. I've turned the table around. I've got, a crystal grid on the desk near the door of my office. So the crystal grid is on the right-hand side of my desk, which is near the entrance into my study, so that's going to hopefully encourage the money to come in. I also have some huge quartz crystal points on the left-hand side of my desk, and that's all for clarity. And I'm hoping that this is going to help me with thinking and providing useful information for you guys and stuff like that. So in the spirit of decluttering, what I wanted to talk about today was this phenomenon where when we as health practitioners decide that we're going to start a private practice, we suddenly, we go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be so great. I can be my own boss. I can work less hours. I'm only going to work 3 days a week instead of 5. I'm only going to work from 10 till 2 instead of working from 9 till 5. I'm going to give myself holidays. I'm going to pay myself superannuation. I'm going to put myself on the books, all of that sort of stuff, right? And we think about all the really cool things that this newfound freedom is going to let us do. Like I was thinking, oh, it's going to be so great because I'll be able to go down the beach more. I can go and do a Pilates class or a yoga class. I can hang out with my friends more. I can sleep in. I was thinking all of this sort of stuff too. And I was thinking, I could go and buy more crystals, do more courses, read more books, all of that sort of fun stuff. But hey, guess what happens? You move into private practice and, if you're like me, you're a bit naive and you think, holy dooly, where am I going to get all my referrals? What's a website? Do I really need to have one? What do you mean I need a logo? Brand colors, what's a brand personality? What's my brand palette? Why are people talking to me about this stuff? What do you mean I've got to actually go and meet with people who might be able to refer clients to me. I don't know how to do that. What? I've got to get my own practice management software. I've just been using paper files and folders. What do you mean I've got to do it digitally now? How do I process a payment? What do I do when clients cancel their appointments? What do I do when clients don't turn up to their appointments? What do you mean I need a policy for cancellations? All this stuff happens, right? And it happens really quickly, and it never seems to stop. Just when you get one thing done, it seems that is the master log for a whole avalanche of other things that need doing. I mean, even today, like, I'm running Facebook ads. Now, I'm not experienced with Facebook ads. I don't know what I'm doing. I've hired somebody to help me with my Facebook ads. She's a teacher, so I want to learn how to do it before I start outsourcing this stuff. And so we've put together the first Facebook ad, and it didn't do very well at all. There was one conversion of the ad, and it got in front of, I think, about 2,000 or 3,000 people. I need to check the stats this morning. And so I know that she's going to say to me, because I want to say to her, hey, I'm thinking of changing the price, or I'm thinking of changing the picture, or maybe I'll do both. And I know she's going to say to me, just change one thing. But here's the thing, I'm impatient and I want results from that Facebook ad right now. It's only been 10 days. I know it's probably going to take a few months before I start seeing any real results. And here's the thing. Just to change that one little thing on the ad means I've got to go and change a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes. And this is what I mean by, you realize that something needs to change in the private practice. But when you have that realization, you soon become aware that there's all these other things then that need to be done. It's not just a matter of charging someone a no-show fee. You realize that you need to create a policy, that policy needs to be shared, that policy needs to be agreed to, that a policy needs to be recorded. You need to make sure your policy is consistent with regulations in the financial sector for, collecting fees, all that sort of stuff, right? It's like all these other things happen. And who's got time for that when you've got overheads like your rent, and so you've got to pay your bills. And so what you're doing now is you're suddenly back to seeing clients from 9 till 5. But on top of that now, from 5 till 8, you're now working on the business. You go home and you're not connecting really with your family, and maybe your partner is getting a bit upset with you because you're on your phone all the time, because you've got to check your social, or you didn't post to your social, or you've got to update Google My Business, or you're responding to emails or things like that. And so what happens is, without you even being conscious about it in the beginning, we go from this idea of how cool it's going to be and how wonderful and how freeing it's going to be. We're going to have more money, more time, to all of a sudden you've like tripled your workload and halved your income. Suddenly your hourly rate has halved because you're working more hours now, and you're tired, and people miss you, and you start to have, little niggly arguments with people in your family because you're not so present. And yeah, it just kind of all starts to feel too hard, doesn't it? And then you have these moments where things don't go well in your practice, and you think to yourself, maybe I should just throw in the towel. This is too hard. Maybe I wasn't cut out for private practice. And then you make it worse for yourself because you go and look on social media and everybody else is telling you how awesome it is and how they're crushing it. And you just feel then that, you have no place being in private practice. And how did they all do it? And I want to tell you that those people are probably only sharing the good things. And they're probably sharing in the spirit of celebrating because they've been where you are, probably. They've been through all of that transformation and all of those shifts. And so it feels good to be able to share the wins when they happen. And so if you've started a private practice and maybe you've been in it for 6, 12, 18 months, maybe even 2 years, and you're feeling like you haven't quite got there yet, you're feeling like you're still caught up in all the busy work and still on that hamster wheel and, when am I going to have my breakthrough? What I want to share with you is that it didn't happen for anybody overnight. It takes time. And just like my little Facebook ad, it's going to take time, right? Because you need to make tweaks and changes. And I think because we don't learn when we're studying psychology at university, or when you're studying social work, or when you're learning how to run a business, nobody tells you about the energy behind the business. Everybody tends to focus on the strategy, right? And you can go into other Facebook groups and they're going to talk to you about the strategy as well. And that's fine if your energy is in the right space. But if your energy is not in the right space, for example, if you're tired, if you're desperate, if you're feeling stressed, pressured, overwhelmed, then all those strategies are just going to feel to you like they're extra work. What I'm saying is, people like clients, referrers, your audience, they're not going to come to somebody who's pressured, stressed, overworked, tired, grumpy, not getting along with people, starting to resent everything she needs to do in the practice. That is not going to happen. People are going to come to you because you have an energy that's drawing them in. You have an energy that's attracting them. This is what we mean by client attraction, audience attraction, referrer attraction, right? And so one of the things that came up in the private practice monthly mentorship group this week was a discussion around the idea of title. You know, what should I call myself? What are clients most responsive to? And you know, what's going to be best for my business? Do I call myself a psychologist, a social worker, a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a practitioner? I'm wearing all of these hats. I'm doing all of these different services. Do I call myself all 3, 4, 5, 6 things? Do I put all of those titles on my business card? Which one's going to land for my clients? And here's the thing. I think sometimes we get caught up in these little details, and we're giving them attention. And when we're giving them attention, we're giving them energy, and we're getting caught up in all of that, which is taking our focus. We're looking to the left when we should be looking to the right. It's taking our focus away from the actual way that we're helping the clients. Because here's the thing, I bet if you asked any of your clients, did you come to me because I was a psychologist, a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a practitioner, whatever you're calling yourself, they're going to say, well, I came to you because you can help me with anxiety. Or they're going to say, I came to you because my friend recommended you. She said that you helped her a lot. Listen to what your audience, listen to what your clients, listen to what your referrers are saying about why they're connecting with you. And I bet they're not coming to you saying, you're a psychologist and I needed to see a psychologist, or you're a social worker and I needed to see a social worker. They're going to come to you because they've heard you help, right? Focus on how you help people. That is your genius zone. That is your zone of flow. That is where you get lit up. That's where your clients meet you. Your clients meet you in that space. They're coming to you, you know, you're standing up on the stage. You get an option of what you want to say to them. You can say, hello audience, you know, my name's Brooklyn and I'm a psychologist, a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a consultant, a da-da-da-da-da. You're going to lose half your audience. People don't care. But if you get up on the stage and you say, hi everyone, you know it's really hard sometimes in private practice, but I've created a way that makes it feel really easy, and it's through a process of aligning, your values, your purpose, your vision with the business. And in doing so, find a way of working that feels really good for you and that feels really good for your clients and helps you increase the financial turnover so that you can have a few more hours up your sleeve to either work on the business or go and do the yoga class. People are going to listen to that. People are coming to you because they want to know how you help them, what you help them with, and they want to see your energy. They want to feel that energy. So if you're not someone who's doing Facebook lives, if you're not someone who's doing Instagram lives like me, I'm not, I'm horrible with Instagram, and I know I need to change that story. I've got a coach at the moment, and he is telling me, try and get on Instagram a bit more. So over the last week, I've just started making Instagram posts, and I've been trying to do them from a different energy, and I've been trying to make them all nice and stuff like that. And it's actually been working out quite well, but I'm still very much hesitant around Instagram. It's not my area where I'm comfortable yet, but I'm pushing myself outside my comfort zone. And I think people are responding to that because they can see that I'm trying to give something a shot, and being very encouraging and very supportive. And so it's been great. But guys, here's the thing. People want your energy even if it's in a written post. So when you write a story, for example, and you want to write a story that's going to help you connect with your audience, let's say you're writing about a challenge, don't just write about the challenge, because that's depressing, right? Nobody wants to read depressing stories, and the energy of that's going to be very low vibe. But if you say, this was a challenge I had, this was how I worked through it, this was the outcome, and now this is how I help you, people are going to go, oh my gosh, she can help me. That really resonates with me. I can relate to that, you know. And even if they don't contact you then, they're going to start to feel that relationship, and then you can cultivate that relationship with future posts. But be mindful of the energy that you're bringing to the content that you're putting out. If it's a picture, think about how you want your clients to feel. How do you want your audience to feel? And post from that space, instead of saying, you know, I need a graphic or I need a photo that represents a challenge, and going and finding a picture of a mountain. Think about how you want your client to feel when they overcame that challenge, and choose a photo based on the feeling that you want your client to experience. So if you want them to feel like they accomplished something, find a photo that shows the feeling or the emotion of achievement, accomplishment, success, pride, you know, relief, joy, something like that. Okay, so I would encourage you to focus less on the title that you're giving yourself, because that's only a small part of it. What's more important, what you could get more results from, focusing more of your energy on, is really being able to convey to clients the vibe that you want them to experience. If you want them to experience a vibe that they can do it, that they're capable, that they can achieve anything if they set their mind to it, then hold that in your heart, hold that in your mind before you sit down and write the post, or before you sit down and write the video. Okay, one of the other things that is really helpful is to have, you know, a playlist for yourself of music that cultivates a different mood in you, or music that cultivates a different vibration in you. You know, I am loving I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross at the moment. And so I'm wanting my audience to feel like they're coming out, they're emerging, they're starting to step into their space, they're starting to peel back the layers and reveal their true selves in their business, in their life, and it's working, and they're attracting people to them for their authenticity. They're coming out. And so I play that song really loudly now before I write my post, before I do the podcast, before I create any content, before I write the email, because I want to get into that zone so that that vibration's felt by my audience when they see it, read it, hear it. You know what? The other thing is, a lot of my audience, I don't know about yours, but a lot of my audience, they will not engage with posts, all right? It's when I first started doing this, even this week, I was getting paranoid because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my engagement's really low. Like, I'm not getting the thumbs up, the hearts, the comments, you know, what's going on? And then just when I think to myself, oh, you know, I'm having self-doubt. Is my stuff landing? Is it resonating? Is it meaningful? Am I not having the impact that I want to have? What do I need to do differently? Just when I start to get into that mindset, I start to get into that space, I tell my girlfriend about it. I say, oh, I think I need to shake things up a little bit because nothing's really happening. It's like crickets in there. The next day after saying that, I had inquiries. I had more engagement. I had people asking for help, you know. Don't think that because you're not getting the engagement, you're not having the impact. Don't think that because they're not liking, commenting, hearting, whatever it is you're looking for, don't think that it's not landing for them. It's just the audience that you're working with is probably very private, like mine is. They're probably very reflective, like mine is. They probably need time to process things like mine do. I love to give my audience prompts because I want them to have that transformation. You know, this podcast, my group, my blog, the content I put out on Instagram, everything I do, I want my audience to go away and think about it. So of course they're not going to engage straight away. They're thinking about the things that I've been encouraging them to reflect on. And you know what? It takes time for different people to reflect on things because they're busy or they've got other priorities or whatever. But guess what? A lot of the time, people come back and they share their light bulb moment or their transformation or their aha moment. That's my thing. I've stepped into the space of integrating spirituality with private practice, of integrating alignment with private practice. That's my space. I claim that space. I've stepped into it. That's what I'm doing to help people. And as part of that, what I'm doing is creating opportunities every single time I put something out there for my audience to have a learning moment, for them to have a teaching moment, for them to have a growth moment, for them to have a transformation. And that's how my stuff is different to some of this other content that you read out there, which is still great, but it's giving information. I believe you guys already have a lot of information and I don't think you need more because the people that follow me, my audience are done with information. There's too much. They spend a lot of time looking to the external world for answers, for guidance, for all of this sort of stuff. But here's the thing, the answers are within you. They have been all the time. They're going to be in the future from within. So looking at information out there, listening to what other people are saying out there, listening to the advice and the instruction and the strategy from people out there is only going to overwhelm you. So stop doing it. Quiet your mind. It's safe to step back. It's safe for you to reflect, and it's absolutely safe for you to be able to give yourself 15 minutes to do one of the journal prompts or to reflect on one of the questions that you hear in the podcast with me, that you read on the blog post, that you receive in the private practice monthly mentorship group, right? This is what it's about. You have awesomeness in you. It's there already. Without a doubt, it's there already. You just need to know and understand and believe that it's there inside you. And you need to start cultivating trust within yourself in order to unlock that for yourself. And you can do it. It's just going to take little baby steps. And that's why I give you these transformational prompts and questions and content so that you can start to cultivate that trust within yourself. All right? When you do that, that's when you feel more confident being truly authentic, being more wholly authentic in the way that you're showing up and interacting with your audience. So, lots to think about, right? I love this stuff so much. Okay. I have a question for you, which you can absolutely go away and reflect on and get back to me. Let me know what you thought. But I'd love to know, who do you need to be in order to call in all of the things that you want for your private practice? You can write that down. I'll say it again. Who do you need to be in order to call in all of the things that you want for your private practice? Do you hear that I'm not saying what do you need to do? This is less about action. Start understanding who you need to be. What is that version of you doing, thinking, saying, feeling about her private practice? Okay? Now, if this stuff is landing for you, amazing. That's great. You're the person that I'm speaking to then. If it's not, that's okay too. Maybe this stuff is going to land for you in 6 months' time or 12 months' time. This podcast isn't going anywhere. You can come back to it when you're ready. But for those of you who are starting to have a little bit of an awakening now around what you would like your private practice to look like, and a little bit more of an awakening and an awareness that there are other ways to get that practice moving in the direction that you want, then please come and join the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship. I share coaching calls in there for 3 weeks out of the month, and they go for an hour. It's in a little group, and you can come in, you can ask whatever questions you have around your private practice. The group is only for health practitioners, and it's really for health practitioners who love this kind of stuff that we get to talk about here. So it's really for people who want to align the practice, who want to understand more about how they can raise their vibe through things like appreciation and gratitude, how they can shift the way that they see their practice so that they can change the way they're showing up in the business in order to be able to increase cash flow, increase the turnover, increase time freedom for themselves, so that they can actually have that really good balance again between the practice and their lifestyle. Because the practice is a vehicle for you feeling a certain way. The practice is a vehicle for you feeling abundant, easy, peaceful, calm, joyful, impactful, productive, balanced, all of those sorts of things, right? The vehicle is not the end goal. The private practice is not the end goal. The private practice is a vehicle for you being able to experience those other things in your life. And so if you're somebody who's interested in learning more about that, and you want to connect just in a space with other health professionals, social workers, psychologists, counselors, health and wellness coaches, physios, anybody who's working in health, come and get into this group, because you are going to find so much positivity in here, as well as transformation. Every post is a lesson designed for your growth, okay? And it's a really great stepping stone if you're not ready yet to do that deeper one-to-one work, if you're not wanting the one-to-one coaching, if the one-to-one coaching investment is just beyond you at the moment. This is just a fraction of that. It's only 97 Australian dollars a month, which is about, $60 US a month. And so you should definitely come along and check it out, and you can cancel at any time. No hard feelings. The whole purpose of that group is to give you the space to have that transformation. I want that for you. And if you want to go and check out some of the transformations, let me know, and I'll be able to share with you, some of the success stories that people are having. And it's so, so, so inspiring to hear about other people's journeys, because you realize you're not in it alone. You're not the only one. You're not doing it any better or worse than anybody else. It's just you're on your own journey, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. If you haven't had a chance to review the podcast yet, please do. Please jump on Apple Podcasts or iTunes and leave a review letting me know your biggest takeaway, or screenshot this episode, pop it on Facebook or Instagram, tag me in it, and I will send you a very special thank you gift for your support, because I really appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.